Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the most amazing interview show on the information superhighway! Now zooming to you live and simultaneously from two secret studio bunkers in dual time zones, located somewhere south of Alaska, east of Area 51, north of Guantanamo. And if I give you one more clue, we'll all be in deep trouble. It's the amazing twin namesakes separated at birth, the two most famous guys not in witness protection. It's Coffee with Jim and James!
Good morning, everyone. Another beautiful sunny day here. James, something about today has me feeling kind of strong, but not physically, more so this way. Don't know what it is. Feel like finding my strengths, or maybe I have those words backwards. Anyways, that's a hint of today's show. As always, my partner in crime, the yin to my yang, the ping to my pong. The show wouldn't be the show without him, Mr. James Cross. James, how are you? And you know I'm on a roll right now. Can you tell me why I'm feeling so strong?
You bet, Jim. And the show literally wouldn't be the same without that intro every week. Jim, today's show is based around strength. So we're going to be talking about strength-based leadership. And today we have a very special guest, one of my good friends from the industry from Southern Gas Association, Miss Cindy Mitchell. Cindy, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you, guys. This is fantastic. I'm super excited to be with you. It's a fantastic journey that we've been on together. And so this is a great format. I'm really looking forward to bringing strengths to your audience and talking a little more about the whole platform of Gallup's Clifton Strength Finders.
They make it any harder to say. That's what I wonder. Version 2, they could add a few more syllables to trip us up.
Right. I think it's just as hard to type because that N and the G and the T and the H just kind of runs together too. So it's just.
That probably sounds like it gives spell check a run for the money. You know, Cindy, we've known each other for a long time, and we've seen each other at countless shows and other events like that. And you have some really cool party tricks, I'll call them. And as James just alluded to, for those who know, Cindy is a Gallup certified strength finder coach. And if anybody knows anything about the business world and strengths and all that, that's kind of a really big deal. Cindy, can you help us and give our viewers the 30,000 foot view of two strength finders and what it's about?
Sure. So I won't go into too much of the history of it, but Don Clifton was a behavioral psychiatrist, and he's the founder of Strength Finders. He started the movement by asking the question simply, what would happen if we focused on what was right with people? Eventually, he developed a psychometric assessment that is now powered by the Gallup organization. So it's different. It's not a personality profile. People that have done those maybe experience colors, love languages. All of those are fantastic entries into behavioral assessments. But really to get to the heart of who we are, we really do need to use a psychometric assessment. So it's broken up into 34 identified talent themes, or strengths as we call them. And there are 4 domains. Over 20 million people worldwide now have taken Strength Finders. And only 1 in 33, with the odds are 1 in 33 million, is that someone would have the exact same top 5 in the exact same order as you.
Wait, one in 33 million?
Mm-hmm.
Mine and Jim's are exactly the same.
Not at all. Not at all. And then I think the last thing that you really need to know, kind of at this high level view, is that the reason that they're actually identified as talent themes is because they must be developed in order to be known or seen by others. So these talent themes are innate in us. They are how we're wired, and those have to be developed and worked on so that others can recognize those as strengths. every strength has a balcony. Every strength has a basement. You can always have too much of a good thing. So you can kind of get the idea, right? The reference of a balcony and a basement.
Yeah, Jim's on a balcony right now. We he is at the far extreme of all of his strengths. No, Cindy, I love the strengths based and strength finder. When I came on board with EWN was the first time I was really exposed to it. And I say exposed like it was a bad thing. When I saw it, took the test, and got my top 5 back. And for those that have never done it, that's kind of the process. Right? You get your 5, you can pay for an additional one, see the full set. But when I saw my 5, it was like my whole life I realized what it was that I had been gifted with, really. And that almost every time in my life that I thought was coincidence or, I fell into a good, habit or routine, really it boiled a lot down to my strengths. And so it was a big realization for me as a leader and also just for my career. And so when I began leaning into those things and coupling my strengths with the right people and learning more about it and how powerful it was and started implementing it within my own teams, I think we started to see the benefits almost, it felt like instantly. You can almost do it at the smallest project level or start big, kind of ramp up into it either way. We went in and we started aligning people in the right seats and just building teams better, in my opinion. So I guess my point is and what I want to ask you is, why isn't every single company using StrengthsFinder? And how could it change them and what they're doing?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And trust me, to work with your organization was an absolute delight. It is so refreshing that a company wants to implement a strengths-based culture. Right. Typically, because we're pretty hardwired to do what we do and the negative's pretty easy to see, it usually takes a couple of years to get everybody on the right track and to have the right conversations.
The paradigm shift almost, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you do when somebody messes up? You either reprimand them, you write them up, you talk to them about what they've done wrong, right? You don't find out what they've done right and work to overcome the deficiency. So it takes a while. So that's part of the reason, to answer your question, is there are a lot of leaders that aren't a very strength-based mindset type of a leader. And then there's the mindset too that strength finders or these kinds of assessments are warm and fuzzy. They make your team feel good. So I'm going to tell you that the Gallup organization is a very serious organization. Polling obviously is something they're widely known for. So numbers they have. Yeah. This is a business strategy. Why more companies don't recognize that, I'm not very sure. But employees who are engaged in their jobs are 6 times more likely to be successful, strongly agree that they have the opportunity to do what they do best, 3 times more likely to report an excellent quality of life. 32% of the American workforce is actively disengaged. They're not just like, ooh, this is a job.
Right.
They are actively throwing.
Yeah. Today is the worst day of my life. Right. They roll in and they sit in the parking lot and wonder if they should go into work.
That's right. 32%.
Wow.
So increased productivity and quality of work delivered is the bottom line of what you get when you build in strength finders into your culture. It's the equivalent of 33 minutes a day more productive. So that doesn't sound like a lot. However, when the average US team is built of 11 people, that's essentially an additional team member. That's crazy. Everybody, especially right now, how do we do more with less? How do we meet our demands? And yet when you can engage your employees and focus on using your teammates in the way that works best for them will work best for you. So it just kind of is a cool side note. James, you and I share one of the same top 5, and Jim, we share 2. So James and I share strategic.
Which I feel like everyone has strategic. I feel like, is that the most
Really?
popular one ever?
No, it's not.
Really?
Responsible.
I really no. Actually, achiever is the number 1 in the U.S., of both men and women.
Huh.
I need achievers in my life.
That's right. So do I.
Because achievers and activators. I can arrange all day long, and out into the night. I need somebody to go, okay, we're going to start now, with or without you. And then I need somebody to say, we're going to finish this because I need to check the box. That's my life.
Jim is your activator. He's the one to get all of that started. And we share activator and strategic. It's interesting when you said, I think most people, I hope the look on my face didn't give it away, but I find a lot of people who aren't strategic all day long. So
I just work with really awesome people. And I guess it depends on leadership or, at what level sometimes. So I find that I can't remember the other day we pulled it together, our executive leadership team. And I think almost all of us had strategic and responsibility, which was, I don't know how it shakes out across the board. I didn't pay for that report or become a coach like you, Cindy, but it is fascinating to learn more about each one.
And it's fun. It's really fun when you understand where people's, like, their passion and strengths are, and you tap into it, you see them blossom.
Yeah,
that's right.
If somebody is not what you're looking for in that strength, there's many pieces of the puzzle that'll help them, or they can fit into. And it brings me to an observation I had. I've been to, Cindy, a lot of SGA events, and James has too. We support the SGA. We've been to a lot, and to me, it seems like the entire SGA crew seems to be a very tight-knit group. Has high expectations, strong leadership, strong team. How has the SGA used this technique amongst yourselves to set yourselves apart? And I have to ask, what's the good, bad, and the ugly that you find from integrating this whole tool into your everyday life?
Look at her; she's scared to death to answer this. HR and communications are sitting on both shoulders going, don't do it. So now
Don't do it. It's Jim.
What's the clean version? Good, bad, and ugly. I can't talk about that.
All right, let's change.
Sorry, I was looking for a paper that I thought was right here. I think the bad and the ugly to implement Strength Finders comes into the amount of time it takes to deprogram, and immediately, when something happens, you immediately go to that knee-jerk response of what's wrong, where did it fail, what did you do wrong? So infusing something into a culture is not easy, and it doesn't matter if it's the culture of your team, the culture of your family, or the culture of your organization. You can't change a culture without a common language. And so Strength Finders has to become a part of your language in your organization. For us, it's been a lot of fun to use Strength Finders, just so that our employees got to listen to someone other than me talk all the time. We actually hired another group to come in and help us. And so it's really been a very positive experience for people to be seen.
Amen.
And so I think, that's the beauty of it, is that everyone has a top 5. Everyone has strengths, at varying degrees of development, varying degrees of understanding, but everybody can be seen for what they are really known to be wired to be amazing. And so when you start to infuse it in the culture, it's hard. I mean, it takes a minute, no matter how committed you are. So,
and you're right, Cindy. We're in such a on-demand world, right? That I can watch a whole series of something. I can, my son's probably streaming in there. That's why my connection's so bad. Like, he never lived in a world where he had to wait a week for the new episode to come out. Like everything, I want to buy some shoes, I go on Amazon and I got them the next day or the same day. So when it comes to leadership and those principles, and really going back to fundamental basics and saying, we can't do this right if we don't start with the same language. And at EWN, you've probably seen our hashtag and our motto, our kind of makeshift motto, which is be better. Everybody screams, they're the best at this and the best at that. But when everybody's screaming, you can't tell one person from the other, right? And our commitment is not that, we're not always going to be the best. We're going to make mistakes, but we're going to take that and continuously improve it and be better and lean into when we're doing really, really well with something. I think it's hard for some leaders to get a program like this off the ground because they want instant results, or from even higher up are expected to have instant results and working a plan. And that's tough. You got to be committed. You've got to be passionate, and you've got to be dedicated to it. Cindy, we always kind of finish with some final thoughts, and that I would talk to you about this for we could do 16 episodes, nerd out about it.
20.
Then we could do some prequel. We could do 34, I know.
What I'm thinking.
With two bookend intros and outros. But what are some final thoughts for people that might be the first time they're hearing this, or the first time they're realizing there's really a movement behind it, or maybe people that have got lazy with their strengths or with their groups? What do you have for them as final thoughts?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's incredible to have a tool that recognizes you and gives you a vocabulary to answer what is good with me. The worst interview, in my opinion, the worst interview question on the planet is, tell me your strengths and tell me your weaknesses. Well, if I sit here all day, go through that. I mean,
gosh, I just take on too much, Cindy. I just, I can't say no.
Right.
Everybody answers that the same, right? I mean,
Yep. But geeking out with you, I love working with individuals at various stages of their life. One of the coolest things is when they're getting ready to leave college and go on their adult journey. Any point of their career really is just to help them identify what they excel at and how to develop skills and strategies so that they demonstrate those strengths.
Good point.
Yeah, it's just we are under extreme pressure, stress, anxiety, and that will impact our strengths. And so, to your point, James, if maybe you're not seeing them, it could be some time to take a mental health break.
Yep.
And check on yourself and see how you're doing, and spend some time kind of getting to know where you are right now.
Sharpen the saw. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but like I said, everybody has them. And it's pretty fantastic to have a vocabulary around being able to say, this is what I'm good at.
It's one that we speak the same language across organizations sometimes, us and SGA, but also within our building. It's nice to have that. We do 7 Habits also just with the majority of our folks, and we do it in different groups. And again, that's a common language for us to really rally around. And when somebody says begin with the end in mind or seek first to understand, we know where their head's at. And as we start geeking out on strengths, we're all very much on the same page.
Yeah. I have to tell you, I agree with everything James says. And Cindy, you have been absolutely wonderful to join us today. We can't thank you enough for the time. You really just, we've been exploring the Strength Finders for a while, but I really think that our audience will, from this, have a pretty good taste of, what this is potential for them. And I think that's really important. And I will say to the audience that if you're interested in learning more, please connect with Cindy. She is a wealth of information, resource, and as you can see, just a wonderful person. She likes to talk. Well, maybe not as much as I do, but she likes to talk. So I'm sure what's that?
A close second, for sure.
A 2.1. How does that sound? But anyways, please connect with Cindy. And if you're new to the show, if this is your first time, connect with James and I. We have episodes every week. We would like to have you on your feed showing up, so please connect with us. And if anybody does want to take the big jump and join us on the show and be a guest, by all means, reach out to James or I. We would love to have a discussion with you to see if we can't make that happen. And
we haven't ran out of guests yet, which is
nor have we run out of mugs yet, right?
Yeah, we already ran out once.
So, oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we had to order more.
All right.
Anyway.
Cindy, it's been awesome. Awesome spending time with you today. Tell everyone at SGA hello. And we wish you all well, and we can't wait to see you out at an event, hopefully next year.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's been fun geeking out with you guys.
And again, thanks to all our viewers. Thanks for watching. God bless you and God bless our industry. And we will see you next time on Coffee with Jim and James. Take care and stay safe.
Bye, everyone.